Welcome back. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. This is the one and only IT in the D show. I'm your host, Bob Wallenspiel, hanging out with producer, co-host extraordinaire, Randy Walker. Guest this week, he's a repeat guest. He lived to tell the tale. Jason David's in the house. He's from Jim Force. You might remember him as another name because we absolutely shredded his old company name and he had to rebrand after being on IT in the D. And he came back and kind of said, "You made me rebrand." I said, "Get out of here. I didn't do anything." He said, "Yes, you did." And we got funding and we're on billboards and we're killing it. And he wanted to tell the tale. So I said, effing let's go. So Jason David is in the house. You can find us online, itinthed.com. Do us a favor, give us a like on the socials, subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold. Don't forget meetup.com/IT in the D. We got one more. Is it two more, Randy, or one more at Nancy Whiskey?
Two more, August and September.
September. It's always third Thursday, 5:00 until ? No speakers, no cover, just a bunch of IT geeks doing what we do, which is sit on the back patio. Hopefully it won't rain this time. We got good weather last time. And actually, one of my favorite stories came from that event. We had a kid come to the event. He was, I think, couldn't be a day over 22 years old.
Yeah,
he lived in rural Tennessee, got a computer science degree, got a job with a large automotive company that rhymes with Schmelantis. That was, actually, that didn't rhyme. That was awful. And they laid him off like a month or two in. And the guy's like, "I don't know where I'm at. I don't know anybody here. Like, I moved up here for this job. And now I what am I supposed to do?" And we're like, what do you want to, And so we connected to someone at the event. And the guy literally got hired that next Wednesday. He made the announcement. So he literally got hired that Monday or Tuesday and announced it on Wednesday.
I love success stories.
Yeah, and I think his name was Andy. I talked to him, I chatted him up on LinkedIn, and he's like over the hill, like excited and happy and thankful, and like that's the stuff that like the reason why we keep doing this, like doing the meetups and do it. Like I need one of those a year, and my heart's full. Like it was good stuff. So cheers to Andy, and thank you for hiring him. I think it was Tech Mode, right? That brought him on board in Auburn Hills.
And now that you have a job, you still got to keep coming to the event. Come back and tell us about it. And we're not a one-stop shop. Once you get the job,
he was not
you can't
needy though. So I'll give. I know the needy people. I need a job, then they get one, then they never show up again. No, he was. I think he'll be around. So JD, you got to. When you sent me that note, man, that you made me rebrand. I think I want to make a whole blog going. IT and the D made me rebrand because here's the thing, man. We went through this too because this thing started. Like I originally had the idea for this thing in like 2001, and I registered DetroitNet.org because I thought Detroit Networking Organization was cool and hip and. I didn't know, and everyone kept calling it Detroit.net, and I hated the name. And then when we found this domain, we're like, let's just rebrand. And it was hard, man, because you need a new logo and you need new colors and you need a new website, and you're used to saying your old way, even though you had the world's longest URL. I think it's a lot. It
was bad.
It's a lot. What was it before? I you know what? That's how memorable it was. I remember you, obviously, but
yeah. It was Workforce Performance Network.
Oh my God!
And that's still the name of the company. But it was great because in Detroit, Metro Detroit, I really don't have a heck of a lot of stuff. Like people don't like to give you bad news, and they don't like to say things that might hurt your feelings. But when you have somebody that kind of it just jumps right out of their mouth, that makes you kind of reassess. And, my co-founder and I, we talked about, I'm like, he's right. Like that is dumb. And it doesn't connect to what we're starting off with. So boom, we, push it right away. And, we've got the trademark on Jim Force and that's almost done. So yeah, right then and there was when, we knew there was something wrong with the name and it didn't resonate. And that's how you learn. You get feedback and you make changes and hope that it's the right changes and you move forward.
Where I learned that?
That was great.
Where I learned that was when I worked for the Budweiser distributor in college. And we had a whole day talking about bar calls and how to name a beer. And it was like, give me a Bud was easy. Give me a Miller Genuine Draft was not easy, especially when you're at somewhere like the Post, right? Where you're 3 deep, bartenders looking at you. So that's why, like, if you notice now, they're give me an MGD. I noticed that this weekend. I went out with my wife after Mabel Gray. We went to Shamrock across the street, and Stolichnaya is just Stoli now because no one ever ordered it Stolichnaya. So again, why would you keep it? So now it's just Stoli on the bottle. Give me a Stoli on the rocks, right? It's the bar call. So like the names that are memorable, even like Gym Force. It's like, again, you said it. I can't even repeat what you said before. Like integrated weightlifting solutions Inc. LLC.org. You know what I mean? Gym Force. Yeah. Like let's go. Like, let's get to what you do, not worry about what name you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know who said or where I heard it, but you have to make what you're selling easy to buy. Right. And, I guess part of making it easy to buy is remembering what the hell the name is.
Yeah.
And, it makes sense.
It's the third pillar. Make it cheaper, make me more productive, or make me have it easier to buy.
Exactly.
You do one of those three things, you're going to be okay in this world. So going back, I've known you a very, very, very long time. I think since and probably since those days, right? Probably when I was probably 30 years now, I've known you, and you were you were an IT recruiter. I remember that because I had an option of going into the data center space or being an IT recruiter, and I chose the data center space, and I never looked back. I wonder sometimes what my life would have been like if I would have chose the recruiting path. But you were one of the first guys in this town that brought CrossFitting to before it was like a cliche and like a U of M graduate, goofball cliche. It was like one of the new things. And you were one of the first. How early of adopter were you? First in town? Were you like a handful? Because I remember that vividly. Were you even your space? I think I went for a week and then I died a cruel death. So that I think that was all I made it.
No, I think it was something really big that you had to do, and then you hurt your knee. I think you were thinking still about coming back, maybe. I don't know. But no, it was early 2008 when I started, or late 2007 when I started, and then 2008 was when we opened up. But we were the second affiliate in Michigan, Motor City CrossFit, and it was totally like an underground thing right when it started, and then CrossFitters became the insufferable people that didn't shut up about it. Then they started putting stuff online and being insufferable online. But for me, it did have a really positive impact. It kind of changed my life just because I ended up liking it. It was something that I was kind of good at, and then I enjoyed helping others is what I realized down the road. But it was really kind of that grungy early beginnings was kind of what made it appealing to a lot of people. And then you kind of had to grow up and make it a real business, and it grew and we had success, and here we are 15 years later.
That was a joke. It was the vegan, the CrossFitter, and the U of M grad walking to a bar. How do you know?
Oh yeah, they'll tell you.
Immediately.
Yeah, it's like, so I did that, and then I started jiu-jitsu in about 2017, and I found out that kind of has the same thing where people don't shut up about jiu-jitsu. And then probably even worse is when you start a startup. It's like, do you want to talk to me about my startup? Nobody wants to talk to you about your startup.
It's kind of like they don't care. I was just thinking, I don't know why it was like, ask me about my butthole t-shirt, but it's like, you can stub that for a startup.
Yes. It is. But the cool part is like, and part of why it's fun doing this is every chance I do have to talk to somebody about it. So I go to like the startup meetups downtown. Those are really fun. So when you're around people that actually have a little bit of or some kind of idea of what they're talking about, or have some kind of interest, it just makes it more fun. And, talking to you guys are in the industry, and you have at least a knowledge of how it all works. It's just kind of fun to, I guess, talk about it because nobody else wants to hear it.
We want to hear it. we've had, like Monica Wheat's been on a handful of times from Techstars, and we've talked about the startup community, and I've gone to those events too. And some of them we've absolutely shit on and they've went away. Some of them have figured out and we're better for it. And some are just we're toast, but and some got funded and some didn't. And I think what we found out is some of them, not that the goal was to get funding and exit, but like I felt like you weren't solving a business problem. And like you might get that exit money and you might get funded, but like, is that your goal? Like it seemed, so like, you came at this solving a fundamental business problem. Like,
isn't that something from our old intro? Venture capital is not the end game.
Oh, that was your quote too, wasn't it? Oh no, that was
what was that?
Oh my God, I can see his face. He works for the influencer ad agency. I will
local.
I want to look it up. Yeah, he's local. I'll look him up. He had the clothing brand, the rustic clothing brand.
Oh,
not the hot dog guy. Not the hot dog guy, right?
Brad,
right?
Brad Hoos.
Bradley Hoos. That's correct. Thank you. Shout out to M. Bradley Hoos.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? That one hurt.
It's been a long time since we played that intro.
It has been a long time. But my point being was they're solving a fundamental business problem, which is, I think you started, sans the name, sans all the bullshit aside, like there was a problem in your industry that you wanted to fix before you got funding. We'll get to that in a minute, but like before anything else, like you actually built pillars to fixing a problem.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because I think part of me being a bit naive is why we got to where we are right now, because I just thought, oh, okay, you have an idea, you create a startup, a venture capitalist says, hey, let's give you some money and we'll all get rich and it'll be amazing, it'll be famous. What I didn't realize at the time is how hard it actually would be. But the way I approached it, to your point, was I was actually I had a deep-seated desire to solve a host of problems in my industry, and because of that, I could use the blueprint from venture capitalists to make sure I was on the right track, which also helped in us to build things out for our customers. So they kind of worked hand in hand. Some people are shooting for an exit. They're trying to make a lot of money. They want to get rich quick. That's not my thing. My thing is I have a long-term vision, and I know where it needs to go, and I don't care what route I have to take to get there. And if it ends up having to be a venture capitalist, it is. If it's not, I'll figure something else out and do it on our own with our own business model. So we just try to do what makes sense at the time. My co-founder is amazing, and he kind of points me in the right direction when I get off the rails technically, or don't see things from an engineer standpoint. So we work really well together there. But yeah, I don't have an exit plan. I don't have a plan B or an exit plan.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I wanted to talk about that, because every startup, like I said, is super different in how they want to go about things. Did you guys set, you don't have to unleash your business model or plan, but give dates? Here's when we want to be profitable. Here's where we want to show our first dollar and put it in a frame on the wall. Did you guys set any arbitrary, how are you going about, right now, shifting from, hey, I got funded, to, hey, we need to sustain a revenue profit loss model?
So, right now we're at the stage, we didn't have a set time frame. I needed to find a co-founder. We needed an MVP. We needed our first customer. We needed them to want to pay, all these things. I didn't really assess a time frame to anything. I do have a loose framework to work towards, but I can't, if everything takes longer and costs more than what I hope. I hope to do everything faster and cheaper than what it is. But the goal right now is just to grow as fast as possible. And we did raise a pretty good, what I thought, friends and family round over the last 6 months that allowed us to, be able to focus on the sales moving forward, make our product more appealing and provide more value for our potential customers. So I have a loose time frame in mind, but I'm not going to get discouraged if something takes longer, because it just needs to happen, and I need something to do for the rest of my life anyway.
We all do.
Who cares how long it takes? Right.
So let's break it down to the simplest question I could ever ask you. Like, what is it that you do here? Like, what I keep talking about. I know the problem you're solving or trying to solve, but like, what has that evolved?
So you're familiar with a SaaS,
sure,
right? Software as a service. The thing that we had to change first, and from our initial conversation, was we had to first build a platform. The platform is Gymforce, which is the network of independently owned gyms and martial arts schools. They pay a monthly subscription. We apply that to mainstream advertising, billboards, radio commercials, eventually national level things, TV commercials, event sponsorship, stuff like that. Once that platform is built, then we can implement the full SaaS product, which will manifest in a wellness program that we can sell nationwide to the SMBs that are connected to our Gymforce network of 30 to 50,000 members. And then the consumer app is kind of the glue that would hold everything together, connect our customers to the end users, to the SMBs. That's about as high level as I can make it, but the Gymforce network is the first product, which is the platform that our SaaS will be built.
So I'm going to ask you a really dumb question: is what are you doing that Google isn't? Because obviously you're trying to solve a problem, right? All I got to do is put CrossFit near me. What is it that are you driving people to? Like, are you like what is it? What exactly at the end of the day are you providing for both the gym seeker and the goer, or and the owner?
Yeah, I would say, can't you find anything on Google?
Kinda,
right? So if we are building a brand around the independent owners of these facilities and the services that they provide, that we believe have an outsized impact on the overall health improvements of the general population. So we believe that deserves not just a brand, but it deserves to be told to the world. And we're going to do everything we can to be able to build a brand around them and advertise for them that way, instead of what gyms like CrossFit community-based gyms usually do, which is put an A-frame sign out in front of their facility, put a bunch of garbage things on Facebook or Instagram. Our target customers are amazing trainers that they're great at helping people. They have a lot of integrity, a lot of skill, a lot of knowledge. They're not necessarily great marketers. And if somebody is good at doing their own SEO and they like to create content and do that on their own, more power to them. But we're gonna do that for them, and we're gonna put it in the form of eventually a Super Bowl commercial. Hopefully, that's the.
You can have one of the ones on the Mike Morse ones. That's like during halftime that the Detroit gets like 3 minutes. Like that's a good. No, that makes.
That's the goal.
Yeah, no, to me that makes perfect sense, because again, it's kind of like if you look at, what I'm familiar with, bars and just from independent owners. They're good at operators. That's why they hire social media people to take photos and to promote because that's not what they're good at. Like they're good at.
Don't you think that most people would, if they were being honest, they would say, I would much rather spend my money at a local coffee shop than a Starbucks. I think if you live in a community, whether it's Rochester, St. Clair Shores, you would 100% prefer to do that. However, people just don't know where they are. Yeah. They know where all the Starbucks are. They know so we're kind of trying to, I guess, build a way for the independent guy to compete with the Orange Theories and the F45s and Peloton and stuff like that.
I think, see, here's the thing. Like, if I'm just thinking, like, when I go out of town, I definitely want my hotel to be something I'm familiar with. Right. But I think I always wanted what's the local beer? Like, and I would always seek like top dive bars near me. Right. You know what I mean? I would never eat, you'd never catch me dead at an Applebee's in Texas, for example. Right. I'm like, best barbecue stuff I can't get at home. I think that's the kind of what the point, is familiar there sometimes is okay. Like I'll be damned that the Citgo on Auburn Road in Rochester didn't have the best cup of coffee in town before it got broomed for a plaza.
Right.
I'll drink that over a Starbucks in 80. But besides the point, like, I think there's some people that crave the familiarity, but I think there's some people too that need that would rather them know that it's you. Like, hey, Bob, hey, JD.
Right.
Like, oh, hey, Phil. Starbucks, they don't, even if they did know you. Like, I was talking to my daughter today. It's funny you say that this is brought up. The damn Tim Hortons by me. I'll be damned if I didn't go there 4 or 5 times a week for 5, 6, 8 years now. And I always try to like, oh, hey, good morning. And it's the same human being that's working. And I get nothing, like zero. And I don't need acknowledgement from my Tim Hortons drive-through person, but it's like, I spend more time with you than like a lot of people in my life, technically, even though I'm just grabbing a coffee from you. But like, that, the personal touch, it's insane how far that goes.
Yeah, the place down the street, you walk in and you're like, oh, what's this kind of blend? Or like, oh my God, that one is got a little bit of fruity flavor to it. It's got this. You add an extra shot. Like they seem to care, and that's there's a thing called the principal agent problem, right? So if I'm going to buy a coffee from a Starbucks, there's nobody there for the most part that cares enough that thinks like the owner. Whereas you go to the coffee shop down the street, that owner might be standing right behind the counter and giving you your change. They genuinely give a shit about your happiness when you walk out of there.
When you can see it.
Can I swear?
Yeah, of course. When you can see it in someone's eyes, it changes everything. Like, there's certain things in life, like before the show, we were talking about the Mabel Gray burger I had I feel really bad because I posted it on Facebook as the greatest burger I've ever eaten or ever will eat. And everyone's like, I want this burger. And then you find out that the rest of the month is vegan month at Mabel Gray and you can't have this burger anymore. And now I'm like, I know, I just totally like teased it. You cannot eat this. And I feel bad, but I went to Mabel Gray for burger week. I got lucky to get tickets like 2 months ago. And it was like one of the, but when I tell this story in person, you will see it in my eyes that was the greatest thing I've ever and I have a bad habit of saying everything's great. Everything sucks or everything's great. I'm a 1-star, 5-star human being. It's one of my worst traits as a guy. But when I get fired up about something, oh my God, like you can wear it. So again, you get that when it's the local owner. You get that when it's the person's poured their life into this thing, and this is their work. Like, I always talk about Palazzo di Pizza on 11 and Campbell, and I talk about if I was to own my own shop and they would or the owner left and I knew I was going to die in the next month and I got to make a pizza for me tonight and whatever ingredients I wanted, cooked however I wanted, that's how this pizza's coming out. That guy's not putting out a half-ass pizza. And that's just kind of me. If you could embody that in 20% of your business, you're going to be successful because people smell that a mile away when you just get those Johnny Cash eyes and you're fired up about what you do.
Yeah, it's really hard. You can't really train somebody to think like an owner, but you can use it as kind of your performance review process, your hiring process. Are you the kind of person that walks past a piece of garbage and leaves it there? Or, are you picking it up and throwing it away? Or are you waiting for some, it's just those little tiny things that kind of separates.
I don't know if it was college or pro. Did you see the video of that basketball player? The team was all pissed. They're going through the tunnel. They're throwing all the garbage. They're kicking all the chairs. And the last guy through the tunnel picked up all the chairs, picked up all the garbage, stood up all the garbage cans. And you're like, that's the guy right there. Like, that's the one. That guy's, he's going to be a maniac when he gets, when he gets a little older. But like, that guy's dad did something, right.
Right. Yep.
So absolutely, you've rebranded. You got funding. You got your billboards already.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing like you're good. Like what's gonna define? What I'm getting at is what's great. What's like I think you checked a bunch of boxes that you were left unchecked since the last time we talked. Like what's the next big like holy shit, dude? Like moment. Like, do you have those defined yet, or are you still building the foundation?
There's a concept called the flywheel, and what that means is we're trying to get the momentum of the flywheel spinning and create different ways for our network to grow by trying different forms of traction, and hopefully one leads into another. And what we want is an automated growth path. So we're almost at the point where there's zero marginal cost of replication. So we're not going to have increased costs if we have 30,000 customers or 10. It'll be the same. But our product is the advertising. So every little different thing that we add makes it more appealing for our customers. So the next big thing, if I'm looking at a real tiny sample, is the first person to kind of sign up that didn't know me or wasn't contacted by me. Somebody says, hey, what's this? Sign me up. So that's kind of our next step. And then we need to sustain a market. So I need to sustain Metro Detroit, Grand Rapids, before we move to Cleveland, and then Dayton, and then Columbus.
Are you getting into the like trying to do the viral reels, the TikTok, because like to get the Joey Soul out, like where are you starting and where are you stopping? Like, because that's kitschy a little bit, but it draws eyeballs. So there's a fine line between it.
So, I mean, I am not going to underestimate the importance of social media. However, we're building a foundational sticky network that appeal to our customers. They're not the kind of people that are the influencer types, the social media viral types. However, we know that that's part of the plan, and that is going to come later as we build our network, and then we can deploy those technologies and algorithms and stuff like that. But as of right now, our social media is just a very tiny piece of what our presence is and our growth strategy.
Got it. No, it makes, I'm just like, again, I'm kind of, let me rewrite your business plan again mode.
No. That's because a lot of this stuff, our strategy has been based on, feedback, not only from, investors, but potential customers and stuff like that. And honestly, the social media thing has never worked for our product. It's just not been, and this is from my direct contact with our customers. There's people that do it. They post videos of themselves working out and brag about how amazing they are and shame other people and, use that kind of influence to gain a clientele. But we're really trying to stick with the substance of it, which is helping people, changing their lives, making them helping them to find a comfortable place to work out where the owner has their best interest, regardless of their age, ability level, that sort of
thing. When did it start? I haven't been to the gym since I hurt my knee. And now that I'm fixed, I'm officially fixed. I'm starting to go back. But when did it start? The tripod thing and the getting angry with people that walk in front of it. Like, to me, that seems like 1997 me would have just kicked that tripod against the wall and been like, what are you doing? When did this become a thing?
It's if you're, I know this is probably not the right way to say it, but if you're attractive and you are diligent and can be consistent in creating content, you can monetize yourself. Whether you're just a trainer, some kind of influencer, you get enough followers, you can make money. So I think once people saw that was a path for income. They looked at that as an opportunity. In fact, it's actually a pretty big section of, or a big percentage of high school and college kids. They want to be an influencer. I don't necessarily judge that in any way, other than,
I'll totally judge.
If you're really that good looking, realize that that's why you're doing it. It's like, I'm not going to be an influencer. I'm 5'6", I got alligator arms, and, a dad bod. Like, I'm not doing this because I can't do that. I'm doing this because I don't think somebody's grandma, somebody's sister, wife that they love, uncle that has had heart issues is going to look at a video and say, I want to go to this person and have them, change my life. So ours is built on a foundation of an owner that actually cares, and it starts there.
See, I always thought it was they figured out how to manipulate the algorithm. If you act like you're there's a lot. I poke holes in logic. That's why like certain things just don't do well with me. And because I poke hole in the logic, and it's like, hey, whole world, look at my butthole, and then, oh my God, that guy just stared at me for 10 seconds, so I'm going to try to publicly shame him and ruin his life. And it's like,
yeah, it's like,
what are you doing?
But it is a thing. I think there's people that do it for the right reasons, but the way the algorithms are set up on social medias with the scrolling and how it connects you to the thing that you want to see next. And if it's somebody that is a super hot guy or a cute girl with super tight pants, then that is where the traffic stays, and that's how you make money. So I don't think that's going away.
God, yeah. See, back in the day when we used to go to Fitness USA on Van Dyke, guys run Monday, Wednesday, Friday, girls run Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. And then,
oh yeah, it was a separated boys and girls.
And you all wore the same stupid T-shirt and the same stupid shorts, and we just did our thing and got the hell out of there, and then ate Wendy's on the drive home. Like that's the way going to the gym for me. Always.
Well, we have more girls than guys at St. Clair Shores CrossFit, and I had an 81-year-old woman today, 82, Linda, and she can't even get up and down off the ground. What? I enjoy helping her. I'm not going to put that on Instagram. I mean, I do a little bit, like joking around, like, look at Linda, she's a badass, and
that's kind of awesome.
But I just like helping her. I don't need to brag about it. I just enjoy helping her because she's a good person, and she's the same age as my mom would be. So I think she deserves it. Right.
I'm looking. Yeah, I had dinner with my mom yesterday. I don't think I catch her in the. She's finally had it, I think, with Warren, because they had the basement flooding again. They're in a flood zone. Like there's that whole the river extends, and like all those houses, like their basements get wrecked every big rainstorm. She's finally
the pups.
They've been in this house since 60. No, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the sub pumps you have 10 of them. It doesn't matter.
No, I'm talking about the.
Oh yeah, exactly, exactly.
That's the only thing that you're supposed to do is make sure those work. They're only supposed to work when it's raining.
Yeah.
Come on.
Our street was flooded. Like they've been in this house since 63, and she's like, all right, I'm done. Get me out of here. And I'm like, wow. Oh boy. Gymforce.app. We're gonna look forward to following you, killing it. I'm super proud of you. I said it before, even when you had a crappy name. But I'm like, I love people going out there, stuff that I know they're passionate about and killing it. It's good. Always good to see you, man.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm definitely going to make it out to the meetup. I know I said I was last time and wasn't able to do it, but I'm coming soon. When's the next one?
Every third Thursday. Meetup.com.
Every third
Thursday, 5:00 till ? Meetup.com/IT in the D. Yeah. We'll be Detroit for Corktown for another 2, and then we're going back to Ferndale for the next 6 months or so. Randy, you were gonna say something?
Well, if you stay till ? I'll stay till ? It'll be good.
We've been leaving early lately, but I'll hang out for you.
I was just gonna say that every third Thursday and third Thursday of the month aren't quite the same thing.
It is so.
No, every third Thursday is every 3.
You know what?
But we're the third Thursday of every month.
Shut up, Randy. Just seriously. Ralph
he is right. He is right.
I know he's right. He's always
August
right.
15th is the next one. August 15th.
I can't stand him. He always puts holes in my logic, and he's always right. He's not like literally every time he speaks, he's right. I hate it.
You guys compliment each other. It's perfect.
Yeah, we did wear the same colored shirt once. I think that was actually we are right now. But hey, JD, always great seeing you. Jason David, find him on LinkedIn. Gymforce.app. I didn't even know .app was a thing, but congrats on grabbing a good name.
We can't afford the .com yet.
Sorry.
We'll get
once you get the IO, then you really made it.
Yeah, .tech. All right.
All right, bud. Always good seeing you. We're going to wrap things up for this episode of the IT and the D Show. On behalf of Bob and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.